So now that we have ourselves set up to where we can give abilities when we equip the firearm, we are going to want to go ahead and set up our first, firearm related ability, which is going to be our aim ability. So this one's going to be kind of our testing ground because we want to add this when we equip the firearm and we want to remove it when we unequip it. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and make this ability. So let's go to our weapon module, go to the gas folder, and we want to add a new and row class, and it's going to be of type input gameplay ability. And we're going to make a subfolder called abilities, and we're going to make a new class called gameplay ability underscore aim. So let's go ahead and create this, make a public section, and for now we can simply just override the activate ability. So actually that, and we need a constructor. So let's go ahead and create both of these definitions like so. And we need a input tag. So just like we did with our interact, we made a data, actually maybe that was in the core module. We did a data tags, ability input tags. We need to add some additional tags in here. So here we have our interact input tag. We also want a aim input tag. So let's add that, go to the CPP file and do ability input or ability.input.aim. And this will be our other tag. So inside of gameplay ability underscore aim, we want to include the core module, data, tags, ability input tags, and then set the input tag to equal, assuming I can spell it right, to equal the tag ability input aim. So once we have that, we can go ahead and pretty much just check and kind of see like if we are aiming or not, and more or less just kind of use like the pressed and released events, inside of here. So this is going to more so correspond to how aiming actually works inside of the shooter framework because it already is replicated, out of the box and everything like that. Basically what we want to do is, let's grab an example, is we get the shooter pawn component and we can call start aiming and stop aiming. That's pretty much all we have to do. So what this is going to do is this ability here is going to pretty much be running. And when it's activated, it is going to start aiming. And when it is deactivated, it is going to just, or sorry, not when it's deactivated, when it is, so when we activate it, we start aiming. And when we release the mouse, right mouse button, it's going to end the ability. So when that ability ends, we want to stop aiming. So hopefully that made sense. I kind of got my words twisted there. So to begin, we need access to the shooter pawn component. So in order to do that, we are basically going to do the exact same thing as we have right here. So we need a protected section. It's going to be a lot easier just to do this kind of right from the start, which is a U property. It's going to be a T object pointer to a U SKG shooter pawn component. So let's forward declare that and call it shooter pawn component. Now we need a function, which is simply get shooter pawn component. Inside of there, if the shooter pawn component is invalid, we want to set it and then return, basically return it. So in order to get it, we need to go ahead and get access to the current actor info. And we want the avatar actor, so that way we can call find component by class on it, because again, this avatar actor is going to be our pawn, and the class is USKG shooter pawn component. So let's go ahead and include the shooter pawn component. So include components shooter pawn component.h. So now we have it, and I'm going to move it above our activate ability. So inside of activate ability, we want to get the shooter pawn component, and we want to start aiming. Then again, like I had mentioned, when we end the ability on release, we want to stop aiming. So we also want this to run only locally. So when we activate this ability, we don't want it to be, passed down to the server or anything like that. We want this to run on our own machine. So we want to set the activation, not the activation info. It is the, what's it called? I believe we actually set something similar on the interactability. It is the net execution policy, because this has the option of local only. So this ability will only run on the client or server that has local control. So that's what we want. We want the net execution policy. So net execution policy equals e gameplay ability net execution policy local only. So that way, whoever presses or whoever activates this ability, it will only run on their machine. So moving down, we need to bind to the input released and the end ability. So let's do end ability like so, as well as the input released. So let's go ahead and create the definitions for both of those, like so. And what we can do on input released is call end ability. And we simply pass in the handle, the actor info, the activation info, and then what is it? Replicate. So replicate end ability, false, and B was canceled, also false. So that way, inside of here, in the end ability, we simply get the shooter pawn component and call stop aiming. And that's pretty much it. So now we can go ahead and close the editor, recompile, relaunch, and add this as an ability to our 1911 data asset. And hopefully from there, we should be able to go ahead and be able to start and stop aiming. Well, actually, we need to set the, set the input data asset as well, but that shouldn't be a problem. Let's see, we have input gameplay ability, cannot open and include file, input gameplay ability, input, yeah, that should all be fine. So let's see, inside of the weapon module, let's go to weaponmodule.build.cs. And okay, that's actually why. Because we're making this using the input gameplay ability from, inside of our weapon module, we need to include or add as a dependency the ability system core module. So now that we've done that, we can remove the ability system core public part of the include and only have that as part of the include. Ignore the warnings, but we should be able to be good to go ahead to recompile and launch. Well, hopefully. Okay, so we resolved that problem, but now we have another problem regarding the shooter pawn component. So let's go back to the build.cs, and we also, even though we're including the SKG shooter framework actors, we need to also bring in the SKG shooter framework itself. So this will be the main module, which contains the shooter pawn component. So let's try rebuilding once more. And everything built successfully. So let's go ahead and let this launch, and I will see you in a second. Okay, now that we are back inside of the editor, let's go ahead and launch the 1911 data asset. And under abilities, we are going to add the gameplay ability aim. So let's add that and save it. Now we need to go to our core inputs and DA ability inputs. So we need to add another entry, and the tag is going to be ability input aim. And we need a aim, which we do not have, but a aim input action. So let's go ahead and duplicate the interact and just call it aim. So let's set input action underscore aim, save that, And now we just need to go to the player controller, open up the IMC abilities, so this mapping context, and add another entry, which will be for the input action aim, and we're going to do the right mouse button. So let's go ahead, save all, and now when we press the right mouse button, in theory, we should activate the ability. So as you can see, it added the ability for the aim, and I am now aiming. However, as you can see, it is aiming to the root, and that is because we do not have a aim socket set on the 1911. So let's go ahead and do that. And actually, I might have a warning that kind of says that it is missing. Maybe I don't. But anyways, let's open the 1911 mesh. I'm just going to go to the skeleton. And off the root bone, we're going to add a socket and just call it s_aim. Now this I'm going to put on the rear sight. We want this to be X forward. Oops, too far. So X is pointing forward, and we want it to be Z up. So Z being blue. So X forward and Z up. And this should be pretty darn close. So let's just start here. So now when I hit play and I try to aim, we are aiming actually off to the right. So we need to rotate that socket about. So maybe it's Y forward is what I'm thinking. So let's try Y forward instead of X forward because the gun was imported as Y forward. And there we go. So we are quite close to, where we're actually aiming with the camera, a lot closer than I want to be. So what we're going to do is go ahead and open up our aiming settings, and we're going to set the aiming distance. In our case, we can, fixed, doesn't matter. Let's do something like 20. So we'll double it up for aim, and that is a lot better. So judging by the front sight, we could bring, I think, that aim socket down just a little bit. So it is, kind of in the middle of the rear sight. And let's just look at it. So, yeah, I would say that's pretty sufficient. At some point or another, we're going to want to modify the movement sway to kind of clean it up because we don't need quite this much of a figure eight style movement. But for walking, I kind of like it. And same thing, we're likely going to want to tame down the overall, just the movement and rotation lag in general, but we're also moving a lot faster than we will be in the actual, game itself once we have everything set up. So now that we have that, just because it's on my mind, let's go ahead and add the aim socket and such to the BAR. So let's go to the BAR, open up its skeleton as well, and same thing, add a socket, s_aim, and we want this to be Y forward, so let's rotate it, actually just rotate the pitch straight up, and we are good to go. So Z up, Y forwards. Get this by the, actually this has some messed up normals it looks like, so I might need to turn off some settings. So let's just get this kind of ballpark to the rear sight and just see what it looks like. So we are not able to aim here, so we need to add that ability to our BAR. So add the aiming ability, save it, and give it a try. So when we aim, granted it is far away because we're using the 1911's data asset for the aiming settings, but we need to bring it down a little bit, like so. Check it out again. And that's a little bit better. It'll look overall better once we're kind of closer to the rear sight. Or sorry, not closer to the rear sight, but we bring the aiming distance in. There's going to look like a lot less moving going on. But for now, that is, in my opinion, sufficient for, testing's sake. So with both of those in place, let's go ahead and change it back to the 1911, compile, save, and just real quick, let's test as a client to make sure this does run. So as a client, we can now aim as well. So to make sure that everything is also replicated, which it should be, we can go ahead and test. So we are aiming as such. So one thing we can do is to increase the third person aiming offset, but that'll be a future video when we go to do that. But everything is functioning. So now that all that is in place, this will be a good spot to end this video. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Not entirely sure what it's going to entail, but hopefully I'll see you there. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below, where you can also gain early access to this entire series.